Hi, welcome to this week's Weekly Wisdom. So today we are talking about your online business needing a shop front or a storefront. So when you have a business which is very much in the virtual world, what do I mean by a storefront and why would you need one? Like, a storefront is for bricks and mortar, right? Not necessarily, and we're going to dive into this in a load more detail once we get going. So let me first just say hello and welcome. If this is the first time you have watched one of these, then what you can expect is some quick downloads. I won't keep you for ages. Hey Jane, nice to see you. You can expect some points that you can go away and have a think about and how to apply them in your business. I try very much to give you as much information as I can in a really short space of time. So I am a visibility coach to female coaches. I help them get to a place where they can get seen and get signed. And I very much come from you being you when you do that. So it's not a templated approach as far as I'm concerned. You get to shine your brightest when you are simply yourself. Everything I do is based around that. So today we're looking at this shop. I'm going to need to pick one. I'm going to say shop front, not store. Shop front. We need to think about that shop front and that way that you set out your stall. So there are two main areas that I'm going to cover today, and it could be that some parts you're already doing and you were maybe conscious of. It might be that actually you just see everything as being part of the virtual world. But if you've come from perhaps providing a service in person, this is going to make a whole lot of sense. But often it surprises me how when people take an offline concept or a service and bring it online, that you forget the really valuable lessons and the threads that you can bring into your online business. So let's imagine that you own a shop. There are going to be certain things on a daily basis that you're going to do. So when you open up that shop, you're going to turn the lights on. You might pull up the blinds. You might give the floor a sweep or a vacuum. You might just have a tidy round, make sure everything's all sorted out. They might be the things that you do as your first morning routine. Then depending on what you actually sell or offer, you might have to switch on some machines. You might have to clean some equipment. You might have to get things ready for the people coming your way. You're going to want that first impression to feel really good, because if people are coming into your place of where you offer your service, that first impression counts. But how come when we go online, we don't think in that same mentality, do we? We just go, oh, it's all virtual. So let's think of a couple of ways where we can bring that, even that opening sequence back into your online world. So what do you do on a regular basis? What are the routines that you have in your business that allow you to keep that momentum and that routine of being open, being there, available to transact with somebody? It's not as obvious as unlocking the door or opening the blinds and turning the lights on, but there are certain things that you can bring into your virtual business which makes it very much open for business. So let's think about how you want to present yourself to the world. How do you want to get out there? So rather than having your bricks and mortar with your really pretty window display and that visibility on the high street, you need to go to where your person is, because you haven't necessarily got the traffic walking past you in an online sense that you do when you've got a physical presence on a high street. So you're going to need to go and take your virtual shop out towards where your people are. So of course the first activity is to define who your person is. Who and where do you want to take your virtual offering? You take it, you choose. It might be that you're serving entrepreneurs, it might be that you're serving moms, it might be that you're serving people who are looking to improve their diet, their fitness. Wherever it is that you know they are already hanging out, you take your offering to them. So on a daily basis, what can you do that might not be a huge undertaking? We're not talking about doing a summit or speaking at a conference. It might just be a small activity where you can go and just be present. You might be observing, you might be watching what they're talking about. You might be sharing some common thoughts on a topic. You might be answering questions. But wherever your person is, are they listening to a podcast? Are they in a Facebook group? Have they created a community on another social media platform? Are there forums? Wherever your person is, think about the fact that you need to take your thing to them. And it's not about saying, hi, do you want to buy my thing? Hi, I'm here selling my thing. You wouldn't do that with a shop. Like, gone are the days where people stood in their doorway and hollered about what they were sharing and what they were selling. You don't need to go that far, but it's simply about having your virtual store there. Now, the next thing that's going to happen in a physical sense is someone sees the storefront and they go, yeah, that looks good, I'm going to go inside. So then they're going to open the door and they're going to have a look, and they're going to decide whether or not this is somewhere where they could maybe buy something. But if you've been out and you've connected with a community of your people, what have you done to then allow them to come in and into that next step? There's lots and lots of coaches that are amazing at what they do, and I connect with them on social media, and I go and look, it's obviously my thing, so I look, but I go and look at their profiles and I think, well, that's your first impression. It tells me maybe that they've got a dog, it shows me some amazing landscape, or the fact that they have been on holiday recently and there's holiday snaps everywhere, but it doesn't necessarily tell me as a potential client what it is they do or who they serve. So allowing that journey and that impression to continue from being in the virtual sense to being then on your wherever it is they're going to land. So let's say you've gone into a Facebook group, you've commented on a question, you've shared a thought, you've given your opinion. The next and the easiest thing someone can do is click on your face and end up on your profile. Now, if they end up on your profile and there's no reference to why on earth you would be giving your opinion on nutrition, then you've probably lost them. There's no point in them staying in your virtual store. You want to give them some indication of why you talk about that topic. Who are you? Why are you discussing that? Why are you so passionate about it? Now, it's not to say you can't, of course, be a human being, and I want to see a good variety. We all do. We want to see a bit of personality and a bit about who you are. But allowing them to follow that journey through, so they've now come into your store and they see what it is, they see what the products are, they see what's on offer, and then what's next. So following that through to, here's how you can find out some more, here's some information, or click here if you want to do this. It doesn't have to be, here's my thing, here's my thing, here's my thing. It's just allowing them to come through that journey. Just like if someone came into your metaphorical store, you'd say, good morning, hi, how are you? If they then linger for a bit and look a bit lost, you'd say, is there anything I can do to help you? Imagine it's the same type of world, because that buying experience to someone is likely to feel really, really similar. So let's take it one step further. That shop opening sequence happened on a daily basis. And yet it always surprises me how few people whose businesses are online keep to any kind of routine. Now, I have to be a bit cautious here, because I'll be the first to admit that I left the corporate world to come away from that hideous sort of routine, which I've got to say I didn't really have for very long, but I know many do, where, you know, at certain times you do certain things and then you get a break at that point and you clock in, you clock off. I very much am aware that when you set up your own business, you're not beholden to that routine. However, there should still be certain things that you create for yourself, that it might not be that I've got to do them all before 9 o'clock on a morning, but you say to yourself, as a minimum on a daily basis, I'm going to do these certain things. So for me, I have a tick list of 5. 5 feels like a kind of comfortable number, but there are 5 things, and those 5 at times will change, but every single day they are on the top of my calendar and I have to tick them off to say that I've done them every day. Now, some of them, I do them in massive amounts of depth. Others, I do them on a cursory basis. And honestly, some days I don't do them at all. But I have defined for myself what those 5 are. And it's an expectation that I've given to myself that if I have a business, I have a store, I'm going to do those minimum of 5 things on every single day. I'm going to open the door, I'm going to turn on the lights, I'm going to sweep the floor, I'm going to tidy the whatever it is I'm selling. So making sure that you still keep to a certain routine can be really, really helpful. It doesn't, as I say, mean that you're beholden to it. It doesn't mean you can't flex it. It doesn't mean that you can never have a day off, but set yourself some minimum standard stuff that would still feel good. You still have the flexibility, but actually you're still showing up for your business. The other really, really big part that this is for me where considering your storefront comes into just so much importance. When you have an offer, which obviously you do, you have a solution, you have a way that you will help people. We need to consider that in the sense of it being your shop front. So what do I mean? So when people walk along the street and they decide whether or not they want to buy from that shop or that shop, they are going to make a decision based on the way that things are presented at the front. If what you've done is list out all the kind of internal processes, all the, well, this is exactly what happens behind the scenes, that may not be exactly what that person's going to sign up for. I used an example recently, which is the bridal beauty packages. I passed a local salon recently, and they had pictures of the brides, and they talked about the the package offers that they'd got available. And I smiled to myself because I thought, yeah, to get to that is a whole lot of interesting treatments, so shall we say. But you don't put the treatments on the front. You don't talk about the detail of what's going to be involved in the process. You show the result, you show the outcome, you talk to the person about how it's going to transform. So that bride-to-be walks past and goes, oh, look at that picture of that bride and all her bridesmaids looking amazing. She looks so happy, she's glowing, she's got the most perfect hair and makeup. But the beauty package was all about, hair dye, exfoliation, spray tan. It was the whole lot, top to toe. And there's lots of those which aren't actually that much fun in the actual moment. So you wouldn't put that on the front. And when you think about how to position your offer, it really needs to be with that consciousness of, what does my shop front look like? Does this create an enticing, attractive outcome to your person? Because too often when we talk about what the container looks like, it's all there are 8 modules, and within those 8 modules there's blah blah blah, and then there's this number of this. It's all the practicalities. The practicalities will not sell your program. That is not the storefront. That's what happens when someone comes inside your store. So when you're considering putting an offer out there, when you're telling people what you do, think of it like you would with a bricks and mortar business. So you're creating an amazing window display. You're showing people the best of all the things that they can get. You're creating that feeling. Christmas, for me, is the best example of this, because there are some stunning window displays that, even if shops don't necessarily sell all the things that they put in their windows displays, they put their heart and soul into them. And it used to be a thing for me when I was little, where we would go and we would look and we'd stare at all of the window displays. It didn't really matter what the shop sold. It was still magical just to get that Christmassy feeling. That's the energy and that's the emotion you're looking to invoke in your person about the result that you create for them. So if that storefront had put a picture on the front of their bridal package with somebody with like all their hair in foils and doing the having her nails done and like all the process, and like having your feet filed, and it just, all the processes are not that comfortable at all. If that's what was on the front, most people would be like, yeah, I don't really like the sound of that, but I do want the end result. Your store needs to still be very much that, let's talk about the outcome, let's create that emotion, that looking through the window at Christmas, because that's the decision then that people will make to come into the store. This is a critical difference between wanting and needing. We will buy, the majority of the time, unless it's our basic provisions like food and some clothing, we will make a decision to use our emotional connection to money based on what we want, not based on what we need. So if you're busily listing out all the things that you know as an expert that your person needs, they're going to be like, well, okay, I might well need that, but only you think I need that. I don't think I need that. I actually want that other thing. And their money is potentially going to go somewhere else, somewhere someone or somewhere where it really brings that emotion through. It allows them to connect with the outcome of the thing that you're going to offer them. So very much be in that space of, okay, it's not a bricks and mortar business. You don't have the actual window, but you kind of do. We're getting very savvy at understanding how to do our research and what information is available to us. So by presenting yourself to the world through your messaging, through the way that you show up, in a way that shows what you do, it tells people about the outcome. It gives them that opportunity to be in that sense of, oh yeah, I can achieve that goal. I can get to that place. Yeah, I could achieve that thing. And therefore I do want it. That allows the person to move towards their end result and for you to inspire them. So when I started my corporate career, I worked for the Yellow Pages, and the Yellow Pages, I'm sure it was certainly, yeah, it was international. But the Yellow Pages, just in case anyone didn't know what it was a huge, great big yellow directory, yellow paged directory, where businesses would put their little square, they would pay for a little square and they would advertise. And this was, of course, before the internet, because once the internet was in the palm of our hand, the Yellow Pages declined to the point of not being needed anymore. But when I was working for them, when I first started, it was such an interesting concept that we would have this massive team of salespeople who would go out to all these various clients who were buying space. So these salespeople were selling space. They were selling nothing. There was nothing to show. They had nothing to go. They couldn't go, well, here's the thing that you're going to buy. They couldn't do that. They were selling space. But actually, of course, they weren't. They were selling the opportunity for that business to get clients. And I think bringing this back to that comparison, and obviously given what I do, it works really, really well as an analogy. It's probably not even an analogy, but to highlight the point that when those salespeople were having those conversations, they were selling the opportunity. They were selling the ability for that business to get in front of thousands of more sets of eyes than that person would have done simply by just having a storefront. It was like the whole nother level to a storefront, because lots of those businesses, they didn't have a storefront. They might have been mobile, they might have been a kitchen fitter or a bathroom fitter. They didn't have a store. But the concept of that person selling space and therefore opportunity, that's what you're selling. And I watched the salespeople who got that as a concept, as opposed to being really detailed in, well, you can have a this size square, you can have this size square, or you can have this. Those conversations were very different compared to the person who would go and say, well, where are you positioning yourself now? Where are you spending money advertising? What are you doing? You're doing, other things that are bringing clients in. That person could see the opportunity. They could see what that space could create, that little square, and they knew how many other potential eyes would be on that person's business. So yes, you don't have a bricks and mortar, or maybe you do, but you also have an online equivalent. But think of it in the same way. So the two big concepts I've taken you through is that routine. Now, I don't like the word routine, but that consistency of whatever it is. What are you doing, just like a shop would, on a daily basis to open yourself up for business? Are you posting? Are you showing up somewhere? Are you sharing a message? Are you doing your own work where your personal development's coming in so that you are actually walking your talk? Are you showing people the results that you're going to be able to help them achieve? Are you doing your own program so that you can show people what it is you're doing and then help them to do the same thing? Whatever your things need to be, get into a routine that it might not be every day. It might be, right, by the end of the week, I need to have this, and this, just like you would if you were opening a shop. And then think about the way that you package your offer. You can't sell the process. You can't sell the exfoliation, the waxing, the hair dye. You need to sell that finished photograph of the bride looking amazing and the smile on her face when she knows she's put all that work in and now she just feels amazing and she's glowing. That's the feeling. You're selling not space in a Yellow Pages, you're selling that opportunity to get more clients. You're selling them the end goal, that end point that you're going to take them to. So even though you don't have a shop front, you can create your own. Make sure that everything follows, so your profile's tidy, it clearly shows some connection to what you do, that you're showing up consistently, you're sharing your message, and that you're absolutely getting seen by the people that need to hear your message. I'm going to leave you with one final thought. I have just pulled together some training materials which I am putting together as a new freebie package, let's call it. So I've packaged them up and they are called the Free Visibility Guide for coaches wanting to get seen and get signed. If you would like to grab the training, is video training on your 50 ways to get visible for free. So some of you might have had the Word document or the kind of PDF version of it, but I've also added a lot of individual training to each of those areas so you can really implement some of those ideas. And then also I've added to the end of that, because once you're showing up and you're starting to share your message, the better dialed in your message is, the more effective it's going to be. So I've added to that a mini training around your headline statement. So this is like what do you lead with? How do I describe? What do I put on the front of my store? That training will help you to craft your very own banner to go onto your storefront. So you can grab hold of that using the link that I'll put in when I finish this video. It will be somewhere around here. And yeah, go and check it out. Like, you literally just put your details in and it'll be sent straight to you. And there's tons and tons of material in there. You can pick and choose. I'm very much into you finding your way. I don't tell you this is how you do it. I give you a menu of options so you can go and choose and find the right way to show up for you. And then when you do, you can really nail that statement so that it's super clear on who you help and what you help them achieve. So yeah, find the link around the video somewhere. It will be here. And I will see you same time, same place next week for next week's Weekly Wisdom. All right, see you later. Bye.